It was a good fight, and that ending was just left a bad taste in my mouth, I'm not going to lie.
Defeated and new WBO interim heavyweight champion of the world, Fabio Wardley. Two of the most unbelievable.
I had some moments, I felt like I was controlling the fight, but again, he's got a big punch, you know.
The reason why he won this fight, because Parker let him win it.
The brutal, savage war between Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley was on its way to becoming an instant classic. It was a fight that had everything: skill versus heart, momentum swings, and unbelievable toughness. But its ending in the 11th round left the entire boxing world divided, sparking a furious debate and asking one simple question: was it a brilliant act or a complete robbery? Joseph Parker is not staying silent. He is leaving no doubt about his outrage over the TKO stoppage. He has been vocal, claiming he was robbed of a fair chance.
I thought I was fine to carry on, but I guess, I'm not the one in charge of letting the fight go on or stopping it, so what can I do? Accept it and move on. Otherwise, there's no point crying about it. It's not going to change anything.
I just think the style matchup for Fabio is not great. I think early on, Fabio, he's going to be very dangerous. He'll always trade with you. He's very heavy-handed. But just like Huni started to just be a little bit too good and wear him down, I think Parker might have a little bit more power than that to maybe close the show. So I think Joseph will win by stoppage inside 9 rounds.
To understand the controversial end, you have to see the unbelievable moment that came just rounds earlier. Joseph Parker, the savvy veteran, was doing exactly what many expected. He was the better technical boxer, and he was landing devastating clean punches. In the middle of the fight, Parker unleashed a massive, sustained assault on Fabio Wardley. He trapped him and landed punch after punch, a barrage that would have finished almost any other heavyweight. The commentator was in disbelief, screaming that Wardley was a Terminator for simply remaining on his feet. Parker had thrown his absolute best, but the beast in front of him refused to fall. After failing to put Wardley away, Parker's momentum stalled. He had spent a tremendous amount of energy trying to get the knockout, and Wardley, despite being exhausted and hurt, was still there. And then, the tide turned in an instant. Running on fumes and pure primal instinct, Wardley found his opening.
Fabio Wardley TKOs Joseph Parker, and the initial response from a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people is that's bull jive. Okay, it was a bad stoppage.
But why did Parker fade so hard? Fellow heavyweight Derek Chisora had a brutal explanation. He claimed Parker came in too heavy. Chisora said Parker had too much weight, that he was chubby and not fit enough. He pointed out that Parker was chucking a shot and catching a big breath.
Parker had to lose weight. Parker had too much weight. He was chubby. He was not fit enough to get with it, to push on. He was chucking a shot and catching a big breath, catching a shot and catching a big breath. He needed to do more when you don't want to work. You understand? There was so much breaks in there. They were both taking a brave, and then pump shots and then come back and regroup again.
Let's talk about this fight. Fabio Wardley stops Joseph Parker in the 11th round. He's the second man to stop Joseph Parker, although we never put him down. It was a very, very fun fight, very competitive fight, very enjoyable fight. Let's talk about it. Going into this fight, I was making Joseph Parker the heavy favourite. That was until I saw the weigh-in and saw the weigh-in results. Now, 262 pounds, which is not a career heaviest for Joseph Parker, but it is right up there in terms of weight. It's 5 pounds lighter than he was against Martin Bakole last time out. Now, historically, Joseph Parker, when he turned pro, he was in the 230s. He gradually went up through the weights and then ended up in the kind of 240s to 250s. Ironically, when he got stopped by Joe Joyce, that was in the 11th round. And at the time he was weighing in, I'm not sure if it was a career heaviest, but it was one of his heavier weights of his career. He was 255 in that fight. That's not a good weight, especially considering Wardley's always in the low 240s. He's consistent. That's not a good weight to be weighing in at. I was very hesitant about Parker in this fight because I thought, I don't know what you're like at that weight. I don't know how your foot speed's going to be. I don't know how your hand speed's going to be. I don't know how your stamina's going to be. Evidently, the hand speed was fine, but the foot speed and stamina wasn't. Because straight off the bat, you can see Parker, although he's superior in terms of boxing ability. I mean, it was obvious from the first round. His jab was better, his counter punching was better, the right hand was better, everything was better. But his feet were slow.
A clear sign of exhaustion. That fatigue was the opening Wardley needed. He turned the tables and got Parker in serious trouble, landing a series of unanswered punches that sent Parker reeling. The veteran's legs were gone. He was on Bambi legs, as one analyst called it, trapped on the ropes and just trying to survive.
The referee was saying that he wanted to see something from Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker was definitely hurt and Bambi legs. And Fabio Wardley ran off punches for about almost a minute. Like 45 seconds, he ran off punches on Joseph Parker. At that point, was it a bad stoppage? Or was it bad on Joseph Parker? His responsibility to, though he says, it seems like he wasn't that hurt once the referee came in, he has to communicate that by throwing punches and being active. At this point, looking at it, was it a bad? I would have liked the fight to continue on. I would have.
And as the round progressed, even as early as round number 4, you were like, oh, he's slowing down. Well, both guys were slowing down, to be fair. It was a particularly big slugfest. But I was like, right, there's a bit of an issue here. Both guys are slowing down, but Parker has never been known for gassing in fights per se, but he was slowing down. You could see it. His feet were slow and it wasn't looking good. He had a great first round. He had a pretty bad second round. Then after round number 2, when he had that bad round, he started just winning these rounds consistently. You could make an argument that Wardley won a round or 2. He really didn't. The only round you could categorically give to him after round number 2 was round number 8. And in that round, he really put it on Joseph Parker.
For a full 45 seconds, Wardley unloaded everything he had left, and Parker was just covering up, absorbing a terrifying amount of damage. Parker was in a defensive shell, trying to weather the storm, and that's when a third man, referee Howard Foster, made his move.
So Wardley goes, backs Joseph Parker up to the ropes, opens up a combination. He's letting the shots go. Now, you could argue Parker should have at least taken a knee. And it's a fair point. He's experienced enough, you should know this is unsustainable, what Wardley is doing. He cannot sustain this. He's knackered, he's tired, he's taking a beating. I should take a knee, but he didn't, right? Now, Wardley was getting the shots off. Howard Foster was having a look in. That was all well and good, that was all fine. Wardley then, as Parker's backed up to the ropes, hands up like that, he lets this big uppercut go where he almost looks like a starfish when he throws it, because he's kind of like that. It lands on the gloves. Right hand goes and grazes Parker, follows up with another left. And out of those 3 shots, only one of them got through. It didn't land through at full force. At that moment in time is when Howard Foster jumps in. Not a good stoppage.
As Wardley pushed forward for the finish, Howard Foster suddenly leaped in and waved off the fight. It was over. A TKO victory for Fabio Wardley.
Parker wasn't doing anything. He really did nothing at all. And that's not like Parker to take rounds off quite like that. Although he did actually set an attack up in round number 9 and was able to stun Fabio Wardley and was really able to put it on him in that round. In round number 10, which championship rounds, which is where Wardley's shape really started to come apart, he was getting hit with right hands. Joseph Parker in round number 10 landed an absolute monstrosity of a right hand, and it appeared to stun Fabio Wardley, and he just didn't do anything. Like, it was this big whack, and Wardley's just kind of like, huh? And Parker just stands there with his fists up, just like, what do I do? The round was progressing. He was landing a lot on Wardley. He was hurting Fabio Wardley in round number 10. Fabio Wardley's mouth was starting to bleed. His nose was mashed up from early on in the fight. It always gets mashed up, to be fair. But you always got the impression Wardley was still in it. He was still dangerous, but his shape was coming apart. But then he landed a big uppercut at the back end of round number 10. And noticeably, Parker's legs, like, they really went. And he ended up going back to the ropes. Now, whenever Parker was going up to the ropes, Wardley was always launching attacks. Whenever Wardley was backed up to the ropes, he was either looking to hold or Parker was looking to set up an attack, but they were very inconsistent. Sometimes he just let Wardley hold him, other times he would try and, let some right hands go. Parker was looking to do it, Wardley was looking to do it, Wardley was superior. He hurt Parker at the back end of the round, opened up a combination on him, and it did look like Parker might very well go down, but he didn't. then it made you think, right, both guys have been stunned, both guys have been hurt going into round 11. What's going to happen now?
I see Parker was 7 rounds, maybe. I think Parker win, you know. But, you know, this is a heavyweight box, you know, one punch can change the fight, you know, and you see the result, you know. I don't know why Parker, after 7 rounds, he go back. I think he have too much muscle, you know, too much weight. A little bit, I think not so much condition. He will wait, and you see, well, Fabio, he's good. He's really good, you know. He have a good character, his mentality is good, and he have a good right hand.
The crowd was stunned, and the online reaction was immediate and furious. Boxing legend and expert analyst Carl Froch went straight to the replay to see what caused the stoppage, and what he found was shocking. Froch noted that in the final flurry, the 3 punches Wardley threw just before the ref stepped in mostly missed. He pointed out that they were either blocked or grazed Parker, and that nothing lands clean.
Let's have a look. So Parker's on the ropes, tucking up. Little uppercuts that for right hand misses. There's another 2-3 shots there. They've come together, a bit scrappy. Right hand lands there. Fabio's absolutely exhausted. Parker's still tucking up. 2 shots, 3 shots there. See, the problem there is a right hand, then a left hook, then a right hand. And all 3 shots really missed when Fabio Wardley was putting it on him. And Fabio had almost punched himself out. He was knackered, absolutely knackered. He pushes Parker. Well, Parker leans back on the ropes, guard up, tight. 2-3 big wings from Fabio. They look like little, impressively.
Fabio Wardley stopping Joseph Parker wasn't a bit early. I'm going to put it this way, okay? After reviewing the tape, looking at the highlights again, I'm going to put it like this. If you look at this last sequence where the uppercut was blocked, the left hook was a graze, and the other, strike was a miss, and then the referee jumps in. When you look at that, you say it's bull jive. I mean, you know it's bull jive, okay? Especially the fact that Fabio Wardley was really gassed. All right, he was tired for leading up to that moment for like 2-3 rounds. Joseph Parker was actually, starting to pile up some good strikes on him, some great punches, and just punishing Fabio Wardley over time. Fabio Wardley, though, keeping his head. And you feel that if you let that fight go on with how exhausted Fabio Wardley is, you see him falling out and stuff like that afterwards, you think Joseph Parker definitely was getting his head, and he would have a pretty high probability of winning the contest. That's how it feels.
Froch's conclusion was clear. The referee, standing at the side, must have thought they were big, dangerous shots, but the replay showed otherwise. In his expert opinion, the ref jumps in too early.
Wings, like if you're the referee stood this side, you're watching them thinking, oh, they're big, heavy, dangerous shots. But if you look, they don't land clean, do they? There's nothing lands. There's a right hand that lands. I'm still watching it again. Big uppercut miss, left hook scrapes his gloves, right hand misses, and the ref jumps in. Too early. He was tired. He may have just robbed Fabio Wardley there of a great stoppage, which is what I was saying with me and Groves. It stopped a bit too early. If the fight was going to carry on, I would have got the conclusive finish. Fabio Wardley may have just got the finish.
The outrage only grew from there. Fellow heavyweight Gerald Miller immediately reacted, saying he didn't think the stoppage was fair at all and that Parker could have went a lot more. Miller even added that the UK is known for making fight stop at an early time, adding fuel to the fire of a robbery.
It was a good fight. It was competitive. Oh man, I thought Parker was going to pull it out, but we all know Wardley has that punching power and equalizer, but that's boxing for you.
Did you agree with that stoppage in the 11?
No, I thought he could have went a little more because Parker was still swinging, but UK is known for making fights stop a little early, so.
The referee, Howard Foster, was immediately at the center of the storm. One detailed breakdown called him infamous for early stoppages, claiming he has a history of ending fights prematurely.
When it was announced in the ring that Howard Foster would be the referee, now I don't mean to sound harsh on Howard, well I do. Howard Foster is a known referee in the UK, he's an A-star referee, all that jazz, who's known for early stoppages. In fact, he's infamous for it. And Howard Foster is the sort of referee who you can tell on his face when a fighter's hurt, he panics. Well, mate, you're in a sport where the idea is to incapacitate someone. You need to be calm when you're in there, so don't be panicking. But you've been doing it for the last decade, and you ain't going to show any signs of stopping. And you're actually, you're taking away moments, and you're ruining moments. I'm just saying that now. I'm just peeved off with the stoppage, right?
Congratulations to Fabio Wardley for a tough fight. He's a warrior. And at the end of the fight, I thought I was fine, but listen, I'm not the ref. I'm not the one controlling the fight in terms of refereeing. So, but I went out there. We both went out there and gave it our best, and he won tonight. So he's a better man. What can I say? He's a tough man. Like I said before the fight, he was confident. He had self-belief, and he showed that he's a warrior. So all I can say is congratulations and all the best for what's next.
The case for a robbery seemed clear. Parker was a former world champion in a fight for a mandatory title shot, and he wasn't even knocked down. He was on his feet, defending himself only to have his dream snatched away. But that wasn't the whole story. Was it really a bad stoppage? Or was Joseph Parker himself responsible for the TKO? Those defending the referee pointed to a different part of the fight. They argued that you can't just look at the final 3 punches. You have to look at the totality of the damage. Parker wasn't just hit with a few grazing shots. He had just endured a non-stop 45-second barrage where he was definitely hurt and offered nothing in return. The responsibility, they argued, fell on Joseph Parker.
I think Joseph Parker should have persuaded the referee better. He would have been able to stand on a stronger argument if he left it up to himself and not totally up to the referee's discretion. Right? If he was okay, he probably should have threw some more. If he couldn't throw any more punches, he wasn't okay. You get what I'm saying?
At that moment, he needed to communicate to the referee that he was still in the fight. He needed to be active, throw punches, or at least clinch. Instead, he just covered up. And this is where Derek Chisora made the most powerful defense of the referee. He angrily dismissed the criticism, saying, "The referee is the only person who was right inside the ring watching the other fighter's eyes. We cannot say anything." He put it in blunt human terms. "I'm happy that the ref stopped at the right time so Parker can go back to his wife and kids, bro. It takes 1 second for someone to die." Chisora's final word on the matter was definitive. The ref did exactly what he's meant to do.
Listen, the referee is the only person who was right inside the ring watching the other fighter's eyes. We cannot say anything. I'm happy that the ref stopped at the right time so Parker can go back to his wife and kids, bro. Forget about it takes 1 second for someone to die, and we don't want that. We'll be like, oh, the ref stopped it very early or the ref stopped it very late. No, the ref did exactly what he's meant to do for Joseph to go home to his wife and kids.
In fact, other analysts argue that Parker, the seasoned veteran, made a critical, almost rookie mistake long before the ref even got involved. One commentator was baffled, pointing out the one thing Parker didn't do: take a knee. When Parker first got hurt and stumbled to the ropes, he should have recognized the danger. He knew Wardley was completely exhausted. Instead of trying to tough it out and rely on his chin, Parker could have strategically taken a knee. It would have stopped Wardley's momentum, forced the referee to give him an 8 count, and allowed him precious seconds to clear his head and recover, all while Wardley's gas tank emptied further. By staying up and just absorbing the onslaught, he took the decision out of his own hands and put it into the referee's.
Parker needs to hold himself accountable for allowing that to happen and not taking a knee. He should have at least taken a knee and said, right, this round is gone, because the round was pretty much gone anyway at that point. So he should have taken the knee, round is gone, I've got a lead. He cannot sustain this attack. I need to just regroup, be calm, regroup, take the knee, go for it again, because he's knackered. But Parker didn't do that, and he was a stationary sitting duck.
In the end, the man who lost the most was Joseph Parker, and he was brutally honest about his feelings. In the post-fight press conference, he was visibly gutted. He started with class, congratulating Wardley and calling him a tough man and a warrior. But when asked about the stoppage, his frustration was clear. "It fucking sucks to lose," he said. "I thought I was fine to carry on." But he also acknowledged the cruel reality of the sport. "I'm not the one in charge. I'm not the ref." He refused to cry about it, but his disappointment was heartbreaking. His manager, David Higgins, was equally emotional, saying, "It's hard to watch your friend getting punched or hurt," and confirming that their team's experts all agreed it was early stoppage.
But gutted, obviously. Hard watch at the end. I thought Joseph fought well for most of the fight. from?
He was up. He was winning most of the rounds. But, you know, Wardley's got that big equaliser and rattled him. And Joseph's my friend. It's hard to watch your friend getting punched or hurt. So, you know, and I don't consider myself an expert on boxing technicality. But some experts did, you know, like our matchmaker said it was an early stoppage, should have been counted, stuff like that. But again, you know, we'll see.
So, was Joseph Parker robbed by a referee infamous for quick decisions? Or was he saved from his own pride after failing to protect himself from a brutal assault?
Well, I guess it's easier that next time you lose, you realise it's just a sport. It's not life and death. So he'll be fine. He passed all the medicals. He's okay. But he's gutted. Not sure. Next year we'll just regroup. I'm sure he'll get offered a lot of good fights if he wants to continue.
Was his loss sealed not by the ref, but by his own physical condition, as Derek Chisora claimed? Parker is left to regroup, his mandatory title shot for the world title vanishing in an instant. He wants a rematch, but he might not get it. Because that controversial TKO, that split-second decision, has catapulted Fabio Wardley into a life-changing position.
And he's got heart. Like he didn't, you know, I don't know if he's often been that late, but he got heart. He's got that massive punch, kept coming. So he's like almost Deontay Wilder-like back in the day.
The man who, just rounds earlier, looked finished, the man who survived a Terminator-level assault, is now the one in line to fight Alexander Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight crown. The controversy has guaranteed one thing: this fight and its shocking ending will be debated for years to come. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.